Good morning, everybody. I am really excited to be interviewing my good friend Dawnmarie Zimmerman this morning for Courage Rises with Susan Jeffries. Dawnmarie, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, sort of where you live, how old you are, that kind of thing.
All righty.
What you do.
What I do. I live in Western Pennsylvania in a tiny little town that I moved to about 20 years ago now, a little more than 20 years ago. I am the executive director of the Society of American Mosaic Artists. It's a position I took about 15 years ago this year. And as executive director, it's my job I created a mission statement for myself a few years ago when I was kind of struggling with what my role was, and it's helped kind of be a guiding point for me throughout the years. And it's, as executive director, I am to facilitate the transformation of generosity into a productive collaboration that pushes SAMA's mission to educate, inspire, and promote excellence in mosaics forward. So I work with an incredible team of volunteers that are deeply passionate about the art form of mosaic as practitioners, as business people supporting the practice of making mosaic, and those that are just huge fans of those that make mosaic and collect them. And as an organization, we do live events, we produce art exhibitions, we produce publications. We have a lively online presence where we celebrate all those who love, create, and promote mosaics. And I've had the privilege of being able to execute this job in a work from home environment, which enabled me to be here when my two now young men were growing up and going to school. And in the beginning, it was a way to supplement the family's income. And as things went on and as life progresses, things change. And after a divorce, it became my sole means of support and income. And been rebuilding my relationship with my work and myself and my kids and their father. A few years ago, I hit 50, so I'm 54 now. And, you know, a lot of those changes and reflecting and becoming who you are become much more paramount once you hit that number for some reason.
Yeah, I agree. 50 and 60 for me. So I'm 61, and I found 60 very freeing. You know, it's like it was liberating for me. And 50, aside from all the aches and pains, 50 was really good too, because I feel like I kind of took stock. So that, yeah, I can really relate to that. Your 15 years in review was excellent. I know there's a lot of change. You and I have known we met each other through SAMA, the Society of American Mosaic Artists, and we've become good friends over the years. So when I was talking to you a couple of weeks ago and I told you what I was doing with my new endeavor, Courage Rises, it seemed to resonate a bit with you. And I want to know if you have any specific instances of courage or bravery in your life that you want to talk about and share with my very small fan base.
The small, but will be growing. I'm so excited about this for you. So I was thrilled to be able to participate. I've had a handful of deeply courageous moments. And one of them was becoming a mother and dealing with a career path and a child that was very, very sick, really young. And that led to needing to make a decision what was in his best interest. And it resulted in my move from Southern California, where I grew up and was raised, third generation Southern Californian. All of my friends, Cal State Long Beach alumni, in my whole network, my whole life was in Southern California. But the frailty of my son's health and the state of the economy at the time, over 20 years ago, led me to a choice to move to Western Pennsylvania, where I had the opportunity to be close to a real good healthcare system, but also be at home to take care of him and his daily health needs. And that meant leaving a job I loved, leaving my family, leaving all of my friends, and moving to a place I had only visited once or twice. And so that was huge.
Transformational, right.
It was life transformational, but it also set me up for knowing my ability to navigate through future situations where there's no true known outcome.
Yes.
So that was one. Another one was I'm here in Pennsylvania alone, disconnected from everything I know, trying to rebuild my life and reconnecting with my art path, and starting my own business as a mosaic artist entrepreneur, and stepping into the world of the internet because now I, had the time to do so a little bit, and building my own company and website and entering into the community that ended up bringing me the opportunity of meeting you and becoming executive director of SAMA, which ultimately pulled all of my experiences together to be able to move forward and be have an opportunity for some real productive change and support in this community that I fell in love with.
Right, and introduce creativity back into your life. I know you as an artist, you do watercolor, you do mosaic. I'm sure there are others that you do, and the images you create, for me, when I see them, they bring me joy because they're simple and yet really impactful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Once I became executive director, I kind of set it aside for a while, and then the kids grow up and I've got more time. And so that brings up a new opportunity to step into courage, because it's like, okay, there you've got this thing that you love, that you're deeply connected to. But now you're known as the executive director, not as the artist who had this little company on the side. And so it brings up a whole new set of expectations of myself that I have to work through to start sharing. And I've been able to do that the last couple of years, but it's not easy.
No,
Not
easy. So do you have a process by which you make decisions of that sort? Like, I'm going to stop doing this and I'm going to start doing this, or I'm going to move into this more committedly?
A process, I think, and knowing you, who loves process, because for me, a process is very intuitive.
Yes.
And if you are true to yourself and you know your own nature, and that you need to be able to, and this is just the way I am. So my process is diving in and getting really messy and getting cut up a little bit and making a lot of ugly messes. And then figuring out, oh, I didn't have to do all that. This is what it is. It just works for me better than being told this is the way you need to do something. So when an opportunity for something new comes up, I have to spend a lot of time considering, okay, at the end of whatever this is it going to put you further down to where you ultimately want to be? I always pull back for the big picture. Is this thing, is this challenge, is this scary area of your life going to keep you where you want to be, or keep you on the path, even if it's a spiral path, where you want to be going?
Right. So
a lot of that is just gut for me. And sometimes my gut steered me wrong. And then that just helped hone my ability to be more discerning in the future.
Yes, right. I find that, like you, I kind of dive in, and I'm kind of stubborn. I have to learn things for myself, and it doesn't really sink in unless I've tried it. And I think I'm kind of a slow learner sometimes, because it's like I can't I get to the end of it, it's like, oh, that's what so-and-so was talking about. I could have saved myself some time. But I like what you said about, and I'm going to paraphrase it, really in the nonprofit world, we call it following your mission, right? In the personal world, I call it defining my vision and measuring everything against
it.
Against your vision. So I like the fact that you think, what is my ultimate goal? And then is what I'm doing leading me in that direction? Sometimes when you are doing something that you like or that's easy for you, it's a courageous move to put that filter on it, to put your vision over it or put your mission over it, because you might be giving up, as my friend Kenyatta says, you might be giving up good and great ideas that aren't yours, that don't serve you.
And that's kind of what I was about to just say too. I was thinking the same thing, that part of being courageous with having a vision is accepting the potential that your vision isn't what you really think your vision is, or you're not really doing what's taking you where you want to be.
Yeah.
And I think I went through a lot of that after my divorce. You know, you have your idea of what your life is going to be like, or you step into something thinking it's going to solve a problem or create a freedom to do something, and you find you've stepped into something that is much more burdensome. And with divorce, and a lot of women that think that they're going to be creating a life of independence on their own, don't always think through what that really means.
Mm-hmm.
Financially, emotionally, you know, and if there's kids in the mix as well, it's not an easy road. And
especially because, you know, you've thought in your mind, I'm going to be fully independent, but you're still, especially with kids, you're still connected to your ex-spouse, because you have to raise them together, and that doesn't go away. That never stops.
Decisions are never all your own if you're in partnership raising children, and some couples choose not to even go that route. I've been blessed with a partner in parenthood who we have completely respected each other's position as parents, and you know, we've been able, through a lot of work and really stepping into courage of owning your own crap, built a friendship and maintain a family that we're both very proud of. But it's not easy. And to me, that's what courage is. It's like looking fear in the eye and stepping forward with your eyes open and your heart open.
I agree.
Anything else is chicken.
Yeah, well, I commend you. I've seen from afar the changes that that you and your former partner have made together to raise your sons, and I commend you for taking those brave actions. And I agree with you. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is going in, as you say, with your eyes open and knowing that it's going to be hard and doing it anyway.
Right. Doing it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And it could be big decisions, small decisions. It still takes courage to put one step in front of the other. That's great. So, how has the culmination of these decisions or actions made you feel?
How has they made me feel? It depends on the day. Some days I think I rock. Some days I'm just tired. Some days I'm like, did you really just waste 4 days obsessing about a thing that we should know better, you shouldn't have been obsessing about? So honestly, it depends on the day.
Yeah, that's a very honest answer. It sure does for me. Always depends on the day.
Yeah.
Do you think that your brave decisions, your courage, your inner courage has rubbed off on your sons?
God, I hope so. Yes. Well, I don't know that I can accept responsibility for it. I hope that my choices, and not all of them have benefited them. But I would hope that they have seen someone make mistakes and own them. They have seen someone in fear and pain keep moving forward anyway. And it's not, in as much as I tried to shelter them through things, especially, like with the move, and even before the divorce, through, the illness scares and things, you try to think that, as a mother, you're going to be able to carry everybody in your pack through the thorn bush yourself. And I think the most courageous thing, if you are going through a thorn bush, is letting your kids get scruffed up a little bit so they can see how strong they are to get through it. And I think my two young men, and I can't really call them boys anymore because they're going to be 21 and 24, they are living lives right now that amaze and impress me. And I am extremely grateful that they are, because their generation, the entire generation, amazes me. Their friends amaze me. The benefit of technology has created a space where they have such greater capacity for empathy. And I think we see that today in the protests, in the activism that happens. No matter what side you're on, there is a passion for a collective experience. And my two young men are very much a part of that. And I'm very proud of that. So, but if anything, I hope that they've seen, two parents that, went through some stuff and worked hard to be respectful and kind to each other through it. And that helps make them kinder and respectful to people who are going through difficult things.
Yeah, that's a great observation. And I too am very impressed by the generation that I see now, the young people that I see on TV standing up for a cause that they're impassioned about. Their thoughtfulness and their ability to speak so clearly about why they're involved in that sort of thing is very impressive.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Yep. Well, I congratulate you on your successes and your transformations over the years, large and small. And I recognize you all the time as one of my courageous and committed friends. So I thank you, and thank you for spending your time with me and with Courage Rises this week.
Thank you. I'm so excited, and I look forward to many more conversations you're going to bring to the world, because there's not enough courage in a world right now where there's so much unknown, and we've all got to get comfortable with not knowing what's going to happen, and the only way you can do that is being courageous.
Yep. So being a little brave, putting one foot in front of the other even when you're uncertain.
Yeah, which is what you're doing, which is great.
Thank you.
This is Susan Jeffries of Courage Rises. Thanks for joining me for episode 4 with Dawnmarie Zimmerman. If you have thoughts or experiences to share around the subjects of courage and bravery, or if you have a practice of your own on these topics, please email me at susan@couragerises.com. I'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned for episode 5, which will be released Friday, August 14th.